Welcome to Between Two Molars, an open conversation of the wins, setbacks, and messy middle of business ownership. A new kind of podcast that pulls back the curtain. No fluff, real conversations, real lessons, and the real life of running an orthodontic practice. So sit back between two molars and let's get into it. Welcome to Between Two Molars, the space where real orthodontic conversations happen.
I'm Diana Weaver.
And I'm Michelle Shimmin. Together, we're diving into real life challenges, wins, and wisdom from inside orthodontic practices.
So grab your coffee and get comfortable. It's time to talk between two molars.
Thanks for joining us today. This is a good topic.
This is a great topic. Culture check is a great piece of what we do each and every day.
Yeah, really understanding why our teams are feeling burned out.
And how to fix that, most importantly. So we always tell team members, don't come with a problem, come with a solution.
What would a recommended solution
be?
But
it's real. How do we recognize fatigue in our team, burnout on our team, and really how to mitigate and overcome what some of that team burnout and fatigue entails? I like to go a lot into, languages of appreciation in the workplace, because when we have a team that is feeling fatigued or feeling burnt out, re-energizing them and re-motivating them can be really the secret sauce in a lot of those conversations.
Yeah, I would fully agree with you. And I know we're going to dive deep into that. I also feel that if your goals and bonuses are not aligned appropriately, it's going to actually facilitate opposite of what our desire is. Our desire is to celebrate growth. Our desire is to celebrate really, hard work and success. I like to use metrics around goals and bonuses to set up goals where the team is going to bonus 60 to 80% of the time. Because I feel like if they're not bonusing at least 60% of the time, our goals are too lofty.
And they get discouraged.
It can be really discouraging. And that can facilitate, employment fatigue pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. If they're bonusing more than 80% of the time, our goals are not lofty enough. And we actually talk a lot about games instead of goals and bonuses. And I like to put a time frame around a game that we put in place, a game of a certain goal by this time frame. So from this time to this time. And because that allows a lot more freedom to make changes and adjustments.
Well, because we don't ever want to have that team that feels entitled to, always having this particular bonus structure. It leads to that fatigue. If we're doing the same thing day in and day out and we're not yielding the results that we want, what is that? The definition of insanity?
Continue to do the same
Yes.
thing and expect a different result, right? Well, I think that brings up a really good point. And, unfortunately, team members feel a sense of entitlement. That's a really hard balance to, or a hard line to walk, to put into place a great fun appreciation and energy without creating that sense of entitlement. And those team members that, are joining us today, we really encourage you to recognize what goals and bonuses are really designed to do. And I would summarize it that, again, it's designed to celebrate extra work, extra growth, not just the normal organic growth that's gonna happen in a practice, but it's really going to be reflective of us as team members going above and beyond. And recognizing and appreciating that. That's really what goals and bonuses should be designed.
I also like to include the team members in those bonusing conversations. What's valuable to them, and how do we take that value point? What's motivating? What do they like? What do they not like out of maybe previous bonus structures to really tailor not only what our practice goals are, but what's going to benefit both sides of the equation.
Yeah, what's going to advocate for the practice health,
right,
and the team members and their excitement and enthusiasm and hard work, for sure. Well, that ties in Language of Appreciations. That's a good book. We reference it often. We coach and we train as a philosophy of this. But the 5 Languages of Appreciation in the Workplace by Gary Chapman is a really, really remarkable tool to take into your practice, because we're going to dive into those and go through those. But really what it does is it allows us to recognize recognize the difference in our team members. You know, some of our team members are going to really, really enjoy words of affirmation and being called out in front of other team members, right? Other team members aren't going to appreciate that at all. You know, I remember back in the day as an employee, I was an office manager, and I remember, you know, during a morning huddle, I'd call out a team member and say, you know, awesome job. We couldn't have done it without you. Thank you for all your hard work. We made our goal. And then she'd come up to me afterwards and say, you know, Michelle, you don't have to call me out in front of everybody. I'm going to do my job no matter what. I've had another team member that loved to be called out in front of everybody, you know, they just really thrived that way. So in recognizing the differences, you know, my first example, I would simply put a little, you know, thank you note with a Starbucks card on her computer and say, couldn't have done it without you. You know, and that's different. It's interesting when you have meetings with your whole team and you're looking to collaborate, maybe a team event, right? An appreciation event. And you'll typically get everything from, let's do some wine and paint nights together, you know,
right.
Down to, let's just, you know, can you just give us a $50 bonus? There's going to be a lot of variables there. And I love it. You know, the wine and paint night girls, you know, half the team might say, I love you, but I spent enough time with you and I have a family and responsibilities out, so I can't add another evening, right? That doesn't mean that they're not team players. It just means that their language of appreciation is different. And it's important that you hit the mark.
Right.
With that.
Well, and to kind of build on that scenario in and of itself, doctors don't undervalue the excitement of still being able to do those wine and painting things.
Absolutely.
But maybe do it during the workday.
Oh, yeah, that's a really...
You know, then you're capturing the same thing that maybe everybody wants to do to some level or some degree, but you're doing it without interfering with that work-life balance that everybody talks about.
Well, so here's a question for you then, because I can
me.
already see all these comments online.
Oh, ask me.
Do you pay them for the hours they're at the wine and paint night?
So I'm an advocate of yes.
Me too.
I do. I think you do. You need to. They would have been paid when they're seeing patients. This is a opportunity for you to help elevate and celebrate them.
Invest in your team.
Invest in the team, because when your team's what's that saying? When mama's not happy, nobody's
happy.
When your team's not happy, nobody's happy. So when you can really re-energize, reinvigorate them during that workday, they perform at a different level.
Think of what that small investment is and the huge impact that it has in the team feeling valued. Now, you and I are not advocates in just throwing all these benefits at the team members by any means. We are absolutely looking for the highest impact, highest return on that type of investment in our work relationships. And I think that that's important to understand and to recognize with that. But it's something simple can really be beneficial and impactful with that. You know, I'll have doctors reach out, or, you know, online I'll read comments, and they'll have a staff meeting over lunch and a comment of, well, do I have to order them lunch in? And I'm thinking, you know, what is this minimal investment? You're having them work over lunch for a business meeting. It should be very structured. Absolutely bring in lunch. It's just those little pieces that, again, minor dollar value investments compared to the big picture.
But big impact with the team.
Big impact for
and
the team.
Feeling, again, rejuvenated and excited about going into this perhaps lengthier business meeting and then seeing patients afterwards. It can be a little bit draining for some. So even just that sustenance of having lunch brought in can make a big turn that frown upside down.
Well, and I've been in practices where they have a candy bar in their staff lounge, not a candy bar, a bar of candy in their
or the drawers,
staff lounge, the drawers of candy,
drawers of candy.
Just something that, can just be a fun appreciation and thankfulness with that as well. It does do a lot for the culture. And team members, we really want to encourage you to recognize that if you develop a sense of entitlement, it's actually going to backfire on you. And most likely we see that the doctors get frustrated. It ends up getting been taken away, period, with it. So how can you contribute to an impactful way to appreciate the team, yet go above and beyond and deliver those extra added results so that, the doctors want to continue?
So let's go back to this languages of appreciation in the workplace, because if you've never read the book, like Michelle said, you need to. The book outlines very clearly that monetary payment does not yield the results that a lot of practices think that it yields for them. That the other the other 4 languages, I would say, yield a greater motivational, greater result out of team members.
Let's list them out for our audience here. But the 5 languages of appreciation, we've got words of affirmation. So kudos, job well done. Gifts.
In private or public recognition. I think that there's 2 silos out for
100%.
that. Words of affirmation.
A simple little card. I can't tell you how many times I hear from team members, I wish the doctor would just tell me I'm doing a good job. Because they definitely hear when they're not doing a good job.
And even a simple thank you. Thank you for the efforts that you put in for today before they leave.
Excuse me.
Doctors can sometimes get really busy and swoosh out the door really fast, but an actual going in and saying, hey, I appreciated you today. Thank you for your hard work. I'm hanging out. I'm checking out the door. Do you need anything else from me before I leave? Yeah. That simple act of kindness and affirming that they're important can go a long way for a team member.
What a way to lead by example as well. And that is the ripple effect that we talk often about.
Right.
It's just going to ripple outwards from that simple action. Yeah.
So we've got words of affirmation. You do have gifts.
Gifts. It's one of mine.
Yes, this is gifts. So when we pick out gifts, you share with me, because I have a philosophy. Gifts need to be personal.
Yes.
Personal, not just here's a gift card or here's some money. It needs to be very intentional and thought out. Am I accurate in that assessment?
100%. And we have a tendency instinctually to be drawn to the gifts that we would like to receive as well. And sure, you always, want to kind of be thoughtful and do what you would want somebody to do for you. But when you talk about being intentional, that's listening to those around you, listening to little simple things that mean a lot to them, and choosing to remember that and act on that.
So to share a little bit more about this, I am wearing this very beautiful, I love this bracelet. Michelle got it for me for my birthday, and it's really special to me. And when she was talking to me about it, had reached out. Well, you tell the story.
It was actually really funny because I was drawn to the store. I was drawn immediately to this beautiful bangle bracelet that was gold with some tan on it. And I thought it would look beautiful on you as well. But then it dawned on me, wait a minute, I think Diana is mostly silver jewelry. I'm, mostly gold. And so I texted Adam quickly to just verify. And then
Which is my husband.
Picked up a quick picture. I had to zoom in on some pictures that I have of you.
She wasn't wrong.
But then it's recognizing that, I'm drawn to this area, but am I really intentional with the individual that I'm looking to buy a gift for?
And actively listening as well. So actively listening to your team members and what they're saying that they might want. Maybe they are really into baseball and they want that. They've been really thinking about that baseball game. And if their love language is gifts, or their language of appreciation is gifts, having that piece, I know that's a big thing, but maybe it's a movie ticket. They're big into movies and they've been wanting to go to this movie, and that's
more powerful the more intentional you are with it. So
or maybe they like chocolate.
Yeah.
And it's just a simple chocolate on their workstation.
Words of affirmation, gifts,
acts of service.
Let's talk about what this looks like in the office, in a professional environment.
Acts of service can be a hidden, I feel, a hidden language of appreciation. This typically comes out as team members who maybe don't want your help with it, but they want you to offer the help. So maybe it's maybe if you're acts of service, hey, Michelle, can I help you with that? I know that this is a really, you've got a lot of things on your plate right now. I'm happy to offload perhaps that ordering and inventory. Do you want me to go through and check to make sure what we have in our inventory works so that you can facilitate actually making that order purposeful?
I see a lot with doctors, acts of service, in being accountable for reporting on time. I see that as their translation to that, because that is an extension of the operations in the business. And so that's an area as well. But it goes along with our serving others outside of your position in leadership. I remember as an office manager being in heels and a suit, and I would recognize, a time when the team members in the clinic would have been just working like crazy. And, I'd go and I'd give them all a high five and I'd say, go to lunch, guys. I'll do your sterilization. I'll turn over your carts for you. Everything will be set up for lunch. And just looking to see how can I serve you so that it can regenerate you for the afternoon. Or maybe it's just simply walking around and taking the garbage out for everybody. I mean,
because who wants to take the garbage out?
Right? Don't be the last in and the first out during the day. So we have words of affirmation. We've got gifts. We've got acts of service. We've got physical touch. Oh, I've got a good story for this one.
Tell me.
I am a hugger. Anybody that knows me, I'm a hugger. And that's when I am proud of somebody, when I want to show them that I appreciate them. My instinct is to just give them a big hug. And I was working with a gal one time and she would just stiffen up. And it would actually do the opposite of what I intended. And so it was quite interesting to really be intentional and focus on what is a way that I can show her appreciation. And it definitely was not physical touch. And physical touch in the workplace is interesting. Obviously, we have to be appropriate with it and stuff, but it could be high five.
Right.
Some people, don't want the high fives.
Or I'm notorious sometimes with patting on the shoulder. Hey, you did a really great job.
Yeah. We have to recognize if that is going to land, if we're going to hit the mark with that or not.
Right.
And we have to be able to make those adjustments accordingly. We've got doctors often that will want to show appreciation to their team members for, a quarter or a year well done. And they want to take them to the AAO or a line summit or a big event, right? Which is extremely costly for the practice. We recognize that, upwards of, tens of thousands of dollars, if not more. And I hear oftentimes half the team is complaining about it. I have to fly, or I have to be away from my family, or I'm not even paid, whatever it is. And it's just completely missing the mark on it. And it's an expensive miss.
It's discouraging.
Now, and it's discouraging. So now, for the doctor, if I was going to invest that much as an appreciation for my team and half my team was complaining about it, I would feel very discouraged. So I think that it is important to understand your team's language of appreciation. And then it is appropriate for those times for continuing education and team development and practice development for your team members to go to those events. And we should approach it as such. That this is what it is, and there should be intention behind what we want brought back, so that
and time scheduled when we come back for the teams to be able to report on what are 2 pearls that you learned out of each and every class that you went to.
What are 2 things that you would recommend changing to improve within our practice?
I like that too.
And have a meeting within a short time frame, within the week of coming back.
Right.
Because we do lose that excitement and that enthusiasm, and then nothing's implemented. And so we don't maximize what the return on that investment in our team is as well. But don't get your crosshairs threaded if you're trying to combine continuing education and office development with an appreciation event.
So we've got one more. So quality time. That can be a big one.
That's our wine and paint night.
That is our wine and paint night. Yes. Well, and you tell the story about hugging and how that didn't. It did not land. I am very much a driver. So I remember working in an office and going hammering away and typing. And I've got, a list a mile long of things that I needed to get done. And I had a team member whose quality, she loved quality. To this day, I'm still friends with her 20-something, 25, 26 years later. But quality time is extremely important to her. So she'd plop down, "Hey, Diana, what you doing?" And I'm like, I have 1,005 things to get done today. But I learned really quickly that I needed to stop typing. I needed to turn my chair. That 5 minutes of conversation, 2 minutes of conversation filled her cup to the brim.
Oh my, for the whole day.
For the whole day. Yeah. Sometimes for the whole week.
Yeah.
But that's what she needed. And so just taking a few moments to sit down and have some intentional eye contact, one-on-one time really turned that attitude of gratitude. She was so appreciative and so much this bubbly level of excitement for the duration of the day, which is what we want, which was what the whole intention of that is.
That's how we have impact over our team members around us, and how we can really, hit the mark with that language of appreciation.
So let's go over them again really briefly. So quality time we just did, physical touch. We've got words of affirmation,
acts of service, and gifts. So we encourage you to read the book, really understand how you can apply that in business and in your, team development as well. It is a very, very impactful tool.
Yes. So thanks for listening today. We could continue to go on and on about this, but we want to encourage you to lead well, communicate clearly, and we'll see you back next time between Two Molars.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And please comment. We look forward to joining you between Two Molars next time. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.